Okay, so we're going to do the news this week. It's March 5th.
Just double checking here, Rob. I'm actually not double checking. I'm looking up some information, but all the same.
So we're going to run down the news, anything that's happened in the past week or that we feel is important.
In the world of photography or... Yeah,
In the world of photography. That's all that matters.
Let's not go broader. Yeah.
What's your first item, Chris?
First item is amazing, Rob. It's
near and dear to your heart?
Near and dear to my heart. I've been talking about this for quite a long time, and I've been looking at it for quite a long time. It's the, you can actually win a once-in-a-lifetime trip to Antarctica to test the coat. I'm talking about a coat. And the coat is the Frank Hurley Photographer's Jacket by Shackleton. Price, $1,950. A lot of dosh. But if you're thinking that, it's still a lot of dosh, isn't it? It's always a lot of dosh. So it's an expensive coat. But what
it's
you
a
get...
nice used car. Car would keep you warm.
I'm trying to think if it's more expensive than my car. Sure, it's definitely more expensive than my car, in fairness. But things bespoke pockets for batteries. Who would have thought that?
A pocket that you can put batteries in.
It's a pocket, nonetheless. Now, I don't want... If Shackleton, I think maybe actually if they want to send one, that I could
for
try.
You to test?
Yeah, because maybe it's got little, they couldn't have individual pockety battery type things.
Well, you'd have to. Otherwise, they're going to be banging against each other. That would be the idea.
But then how would you get them out? Unless there's a button you press and it pushes, there's a thumb comes in and just pushes them out for you.
Well, unless it was just fabric, like a accordion of fabric, and you just drop them into each.
How do I find this out?
And then there must be another pocket beside that you could put one of those gel hand warmers in to keep the batteries warm.
I bet there is, because it says, and let me quote this, 10 internal pockets. There's 10, that's like a shoplifter's dream. But of course a shoplifter
wouldn't be able to afford it.
Wouldn't be able to afford it, but they could steal it, I suppose. Yeah, well, we'll talk about that. Sorry. That was somebody from the BBC, just so you know. BBC Three, nice, classy. High frequency seams sealing, it's 100% waterproof. It's developed with European goose down. Oh.
It's not vegan.
Have those gooses been killed?
Yeah.
I think? Or are they just like...
Well, it's not vegan anyway.
But it's not fine feathers. They couldn't make a coat, could. Maybe that's why it's so expensive. No. There's a feather. Marjorie, there's another feather. Right, I get what you're saying. Minus 25. I have a coat in the house, minus 38. It didn't cost £60. The FH4 is inspired by Frank Hurley, Ernest Shackleton's official photographer. I want one.
So when you're on set,
yes.
Okay, so you do quite a bit of unit photography, outdoors,
getting more,
moving,
very popular.
doing TV, film, commercials. I've done quite a bit of commercials. Yeah. So what do you wear? What do you bring with you when it comes to clothing?
Just lots of pants and stuff.
Yeah.
Really nice.
In case you have an accident?
Well, there's always the opportunity of an accident. You've seen it many times. I had to go to the bathroom, and an accident is forever living in my mind. I bring really good long johns for a start.
Mm-hmm. Thermals?
Yeah. Now I've discovered something recently that maybe is worth talking about, maybe not worth talking about, is that if you put your pants over your thermals instead of under your thermals, it's a better day, I find.
Okay, that's great. Good tip there. Thanks for that.
You're not always hoisting, do you know what I mean? Nobody, listen. You hear that? That's a hoist.
Yeah.
This is hoist free. So I do that. Good pair of socks.
Yeah.
Of course, comfortable, warm shoes. The outer trousers, I don't care. I want it kind of cool on set, you know what I'm saying? I can go either way with that. Coat-wise, I have a nice Canadian, randomly. I didn't buy it because of you, but I should have said I did. Minus 38. I can't remember the point, something or other, 0.0, I think it's called. It's super duper coat. And I think it was cheap because I think, I got it in TK Maxx, I think they put too much filler in the neck and hood. So when you put the hood up, it's quite high.
Oh, yeah.
But that's good for me, because if I'm lying back in the car, it's kind of like a cushion. But that's kind of me. And also, of course, importantly, really good gloves.
See, I think that's the most important thing. When it comes to inclement weather, you're using your hands. I mean, the body thing, like you can wear a sleeping bag, whatever, but it's your hands that are doing the work.
But whenever I had the blimp, this is another thing at the blimp, when you had the blimp hook, big gloves, you were just, one button focus take.
Yeah.
Now you're on the Sony, no, touch my screen.
Yeah.
Touch it. Everything's touchy.
Yeah.
So you have one very warm hand, and then one hand that is occasionally warm.
Yeah.
You know, but I think that's okay. But this doesn't. There's no mention of gloves with it. I would like to think whenever you put your hand in, that you come out with a
One piece.
one-piece touch-sensitive glove that kind of just, you don't even have to touch the, so you just do this.
Yeah. For myself, I use if it's really going to be cold, I'll wear long john thermals. But that's pretty rare. That's
Oh,
pretty
really?
rare.
Oh, you're
But-
always naked-legged?
Well, I'll wear jeans, but I don't wear thermal like trousers. But then I'll wear a thermal t-shirt if it's cold.
Yeah.
I'll wear a fleece. I'll have 2 more fleeces and an overcoat.
But you have a natural defender.
Yeah, and then I have hair.
You see, can you imagine me? It's just like, it's all,
Well, I wear a hat. I wear a hat on set because inevitably it's windy and hair's blowing around and it's hard to see.
it's hard. What?
But I like the layered idea because, obviously as it gets warmer, I can start shedding layers. Now, when it comes to a location shoot and you're away from the car, it can get a little tedious, taking clothes on and off and leaving them in different spots. But, for the most part, I just say buck up and, I'll wear the one fleece.
Yeah.
And I'll bring the one raincoat with me, and then I just leave it at that. I usually don't wear gloves. 99% of the time I don't wear gloves. I've never gotten anything that's that cold here.
Wow.
I do have gloves.
Good gloves.
I have utility gloves that I use around the farm. And I have an extra set that are nice and clean that I'll keep. But otherwise...
What, for like funerals and things?
No, for work.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe something special gloves.
Sunday special gloves.
Something special, Rob. But I'm putting them on, Olivia. Get the box out. Yeah, but...
So it's a big coat. It's a big, expensive coat.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to try it on. And of course, it tells us, which I think is very, very nice, into everything, that the model wearing it, although we can't see his head, well, maybe there is one so we can see his head, it's kind of an invisible man job, is 6'4", and he weighs such and such, and he's wearing a large...
So it's a tall coat.
So it's a tall coat.
That's good.
Well, I have short legs, he wouldn't look, I don't want to look like...
So my first news item...
I love this. Let's hear.
Well, the coronavirus. Coronavirus is going around and everybody's canceling stuff.
Everybody's canceling.
So Nikon has canceled NAB. They've postponed making one of their big lenses, the 120 to 300 2.8.
As is James Bond.
James Bond, the production's canceled?
Well, they're not releasing it for another 7 months now. It was due to come out next month, I think.
Oh, wow.
That's what it tells you.
Canon, I believe, has closed down.
Shit.
Apple has closed down.
They're small.
They're small. They're peanuts.
And the thing is, it's not going to cost them very much.
What
That's because California is in a state of lockdown.
Yeah.
Reading on the Stills site, or the Unit Stills photographer site on Facebook, there was somebody asking a pertinent question about if you're buying stuff, and you have to be careful with this, if you're buying stuff from China, what's the chances of a virus being...
6 hours.
Is it 6 hours?
6 hours.
Okay. So it's going to die in the plane, you'd think?
More than likely.
Okay. But it
depends on who's unloading it at this end too, though. So I mean, alcohol wipes or whatever, you wipe down goods coming into the house, you wipe down whatever.
It's very hard, Rob. They're saying phones, this is going to be the problem.
Yeah. Another news item. Dry ice. Unfortunately, if you want to use dry ice, please use it in a well-ventilated area.
Not
outside.
Yeah.
Don't use it indoors, and don't drop 55 pounds of it into water.
Someone's going to get hurt at the end of the day.
Unfortunately, someone will get hurt. Unfortunately, that's what happened in Russia, and you can read more about that. Just Google that one.
That's crazy.
Don't want to get in too heavily into that.
But it's good to give a bit of advice about stuff as well, health and safety.
Yeah, I mean, dry ice it's great in photography, but a chunk of dry ice that big, you drop that into a glass or a cup or whatever to do a little bit of smoke.
Yeah.
You get a tray, like a cookie sheet or a baking tray. You get some warm
You
water.
said 55 pounds they used.
55 pounds of dry ice.
That's a mini. That's a mini getting into a swimming pool.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So like a cookie sheet or a baking tray of warm water, and you fill that up with dry ice. In a well-ventilated studio, you can push that dry ice across the floor with a little bit of breeze, a little bit of fan, and it'll create a nice little pea soup across the floor, like a little fog across.
A waft.
Yeah. So, I mean, don't go crazy with this stuff.
It's crazy. Yeah. 5 pounds. Where did they get that?
From dry ice manufacturers.
Jeez, somebody feel guilty.
Yeah.
There should be a warning with that stuff.
Another great thing, Sony has introduced a 20 millimeter 1.8.
I've been looking at it, and I'm not a techie guy, as you know. Can't stop looking at it.
Yeah.
Cheap, $900.
£900.
Isn't
It
it?
is, yeah. It's in around that price range.
How much is in Panama's?
Gray market?
Yeah.
We don't gray market here.
No, I know you don't, but I'm just wondering. It's just a wonder. I'm just wondering what the
I
difference is.
can't imagine there's going to be
A big savings.
a big savings on something like that.
Are you going to get one?
I'm looking at it. Definitely.
Definitely somebody
I mean, I like that 24 1.4, but to have that little bit extra 20 millimeters.
But any reviews I've been reading about it, it's just everyone's just raving about it.
And it's got a clickless aperture ring.
No,
It's got a clickless aperture ring.
it's made for me, you know, in a sense. They're kind of talking to me at that. And that's cheap.
Nice
That's
for
not-
video and stuff.
Nice for video.
Throw that on a camera, on a gimbal. And,
Away you go.
yep.
What's it, £900?
Yeah.
But sharp.
In and around that range.
Anything I've been
Yeah.
reading, and I'm not tacky, as you know. I keep saying it, I'm not tacky. Anything I've been looking at has been sharp throughout. It's just been, everyone's going crazy for it. Cheap. What did you say, 1.8?
1.8.
Super duper.
Yeah. So phase one has also introduced a new way to get extended dynamic range out of their
Sounds like
Cameras?
Sounds like levels work.
It's kind of like an HDR thing where it takes 2 frames,
Yeah.
but from my understanding, those 2 frames still take a second to be shot.
You're not doing a football match?
So there's nothing moving, and you can't have anything moving in the frame because obviously they won't register properly. But it also needs to run through Capture One, their
You think that'll
software.
change? This is the beginning of stuff. This is the beginning of a new.
Well, I mean, there's always been in-camera HDR stuff.
Yeah.
Well, there hasn't always, but for the past 10 years, there's been in-camera HDR. But this is taking it a step further, technology-wise.
Well, it's going to be softer. Not softer, but it's not going to be HDRE, is it? You know what I mean? It's not going to
Yeah, well, I think it's going to be, where you take that single frame, and it's going to be at 2 separate, shutter speeds.
Yeah.
And you're going to have 2 totally different exposures in that 1/25th of a second.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
That's
Merging
that's
together.
yeah.
Have you
That's
seen it?
going to be.
Have they given us any?
I haven't seen anything on nothing yet. And then my last news item.
You've brought more to the table than I have, Rob. I've only brought a coat. The coat, my coat.
Stephen Shore.
This is great. You told me this earlier on.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
Photographer Stephen Shore, who's known for his large format stuff, is releasing 2 new books.
Unbelievable.
One this month
Brilliant.
about his 35 millimeter stuff shot with his Leica. And then another one next month,
News.
new unpublished, well, not new, sorry, it's not new, but it's unpublished work,
Brilliant.
8x10 stuff.
Now, why has this come about? Do you think somebody has said, Stephen, this stuff's sitting about, let's go through it, let's look at it, let's see what the crack is. The world has changed.
Do another edit, sure. That's great. Like that book's going to be,
Is it uncommon?
and
Does it give you prices?
look who's publishing it.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, very commercial, in a sense.
How do you say that name again? Faden?
Faden. Yeah. Of course, we'll be standing corrected. People say it's Faden.
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 But Faden is publishing it, so they do great work.
Yeah, geez, I imagine it'll be well priced.
The price, £50, $49.99. That's a decent price.
It's decent prices for Stephen Shore.
Is it going to be hard?
Is it
hardcover?
It doesn't say what work it's from, what unpublished, what 70?
It's a small book. It's going to be a small book. It's only 40 previous unpublished photos. So 40 images.
That's exciting nonetheless.
Oh, jeez.
So, yeah. But this brings in another point. If that's 49.99, then, God, that's great. That's actually great.
Yep.
Where did you hear this news? Where are you getting this news, Rob? You're hunting
Internet.
this down.
I look all over the place.
Last
I
night-
have my sources.
We were talking about doing this news, the news thing, and I came pretty late to the party as always. And last night at around 2:45, just after I'd given my 1-year-old his first feed, I was first feed last night, and I thought this is a great opportunity to let's find some interesting stuff to talk about.
And you found that coat and you didn't go any further?
I found the coat, but I didn't go any further because Luan I was trying to do it. He's here. I have the phone at its lowest, far enough away that my bad eyesight can see it, so it's not disrupting. But he saw the light.
He saw the light.
He saw the light and kept going up. So I got to read a bit about this.
Yeah.
Not very much else. I probably would have found the dry ice story and maybe other things. Certainly the 20 mil, 1.8. I knew about already. So I haven't really brought that much. But next week,
Chris will bring more news.
I am coming prepared.
Chock full of news.
Chock full of news. Stuff, I'm going to put myself out in the limb and say I'm going to go to places in the world that other people haven't really brought news back from. I'm going to contact people. Photo news. I'm going to
Exclusives?
exclusives if I can get them. I'm going to contact as many
Groundbreaking exclusive
groundbreaking,
photographic
yeah.
news.
And there'll be links. I like whenever I do this here because there's no link there. You can make link happen. There'll be links there.
Cool.
I don't mean links. I mean links there about exciting stuff. Maybe Japan. Maybe Iran. Maybe Pakistan. I'm going to try and I'm going to.
So there you go.
Is it time up?
News from all around the world next week.
But also, I want to say I'm going to go into Photo Bookstore. I'm going to find a book that I like that I haven't previously looked at, and I'm going to bring some angle to it as well.
Cool. I'll bring one too. We'll compare the two. Well, not compare them, but we'll just both throw them out there.
And I might even bring Claire Gallagher's new book in and dissect it, rip it. No. It's a brilliant book.
No, we won't.
Yeah, we won't. I have to pee again, Rob.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody.
Do we clap again? Is that going to confuse things? I don't think so. Yeah, like a kind of a news thing. Telex Iran. What a great
Is that the
book. What a
Muppet
great
Show?
book.
Didn't the Muppet Show have a... They had a
That's
news...
what we're missing. We need somebody down here, right, whenever we're talking,
With a Muppet?
with like a Gordon the Gopher or a Cookie Monster. Maybe just in the background. Not all the time, just some of the times.
Test.
And then we can run competitions. I probably look like a skater today, do you? A thin skater. Somebody on set actually thought I'd worked in Spider-Man.